Let's watch this video. Let's do it. The hate for baby no money. Uh-oh. What is going on over here?
So the hate for specific pieces of music, or even artists that make said music, has been around for a while, with a key example being Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up, that was primarily hated because the song was used to troll people with the so-called Rick Roll, where the first 5 seconds of—
I can't believe Fillion still Rick rolls people to this fucking day.
the song would be played at the victim's inconvenience, usually with it being sent through a link where they were encouraged to click on it, or with it being unexpectedly placed.
Oh my god, I still remember the first time I got pranked by this.
In the middle of a random video.
Psych!
This internet trend and song is probably responsible for causing so much PTSD for the
this little fucking chihuahua. Oh my god. But I honestly think getting rickrolled now is a lot funnier because it's such an old thing to do that people aren't expecting it at all. I thought it was kind of cringe back when it was super popular because you knew that you were probably gonna get rickrolled.
Who existed on the internet in the early 2000s, and it's probably why most have extreme paranoia when clicking on any YouTube link. It also meant that one, Rick Astley was only mainly known for this one song, despite releasing a variety of other music that were relatively well received, and two, a lot of people hated that song because of its overuse, which apparently even included the singer himself, as it said he has a complicated relationship with the song.
Calls his 80s hit Never Gonna Give You Up a shit song. Honestly, that's totally valid. I don't blame him. I really don't. Yeah, like, he hated it. Yeah, I totally get it.
Singer himself, as it said he has a complicated relationship
I like the song, but I get it.
But the hate for specific songs to the point where sometimes the creators of said songs share a portion of the hate isn't exactly uncommon. Recent examples involve people like KSI, who—
I hate this song. Into the Thick of It. Every time I see the title, it makes me think of Into the Thick of It.
made the song Thick of It, released in 2024, which was treated so poorly, I think even the deaf community complained they had ruptured eardrums as a result of it. And KSI was not spared from public scrutiny, with many telling him never to make another song.
And the crowd evacuates the building. They should play this instead of ads in Spotify if they need more subscriptions. They need to raise the price for music equipment. I remember at one point one of the comments when they released this song had more likes than the song itself.
Again, but in his defense, he did manage to turn the hate around in a way where it benefited him, which primarily came down to rage baiting people and getting into a public feud with Dan TDM. And even more recently, as I've witnessed on Instagram Reels, there are people throwing their fecal matter at the VTuber Iron Mouse all of a sudden for a song called Cry For Me, but strangely enough, they have only recently started shitting on it due to some controversy surrounding her, because that song was initially released over 9 months ago with barely any negative feedback, until once again recently where people decided it was so cringe and so bad they actually had to apologize to KSI for shitting on him. And people took it so far they actually temporarily got her song removed from Spotify, on top of sending a lot of hate her way. And to be honest, being the person that only listens to Childish Gambino, Nuja Bez, Tame Impala, and the Devil May Cry 5 soundtrack, I don't think it was that bad of a song, and if you just remove the part going where around the chorus, nobody would have anything to complain about.
And it's because the Schizos got mad at her for her take on Peanut winning the best VTuber at the Streamer Awards, and she was being nice to him. The fact that this came out so late is crazy. Like, it's just a bunch of retards. Like, they said she was bootlicking and got super ass blasted and mad about it because they disagree with her. It's just, honestly, it's just Twitter being Twitter. So these dipshits with, like, zero emotional IQ get riled up, and then decide they disagree with her so much that they're going to go find her old content she put out months ago and then go shit on it. Like, if being a terminally online loser was a college course and getting so mad at someone who has like an opinion that you disagree with, that you go and find their content to hate on for attention would be like the first lecture that they would teach. It's like actually retard 101. It's sad. She did not deserve that fucking hate. All because I disagree. I'm sure there's people in my chat that disagree with her, or people in the comments that were like mad over the peanut thing. You didn't go out and harass her. I would hope. I taught you better than that. It's so cringe.
And Iron Mouse most certainly did not deserve the amount of backlash she received for this song. I'm pretty sure it's getting more hate than that one Kanye song. However, with all of these examples, I think there is one person that even more recently has become the internet's new punching bag and has received so much hate that they made a post where if they received 1 million likes they would retire from making music, and that post to this day has over 4 million likes, 4 times what he was asking for, on top of the plethora of posts of people expressing their opinion that they hate everything from his music to him himself.
I do not like this song. Do not come to my town.
Which has had an effect on said artist as a result, and this artist kind of came out of nowhere before one could say being forced down everyone's throats, being seen almost everywhere with every influencer. But that person and who this video is about is Baby No Money, or Alexander Leon Gumshoen, who right now is being treated like the fleshlight of the internet, and he is probably one of the most hated people on the internet right now, or at least Instagram Reels. But before we get into why he is so hated, does he deserve the hate, and some events that may have caused said hate, we first...
It's because of the Asmongold thing. I know we're about to watch a 20-minute video, but for those of you who just want the answer so you can, like, I don't know, go beat off or whatever, it's because he does everything in his power to get his name in your mouth. That's quite literally it. Thanks, Alana. You're welcome. No, I'm just telling you now. I already know. And what he does is, like, try to get you to, like, look at him or have your favorite artist collab with them. And it just comes off as grifting to a lot of people. Like, he will say anything. He will do anything. Whatever it takes to convince someone to collab with them. He'll pretend to be your biggest fan. But the second he gets... like heat for the collab or any hate because of that person's haters, he dips and then pretends nothing happened. Like he'll just like go on hiatus or something, or just pretend it never happens. Yeah. What does Asmon have to do with this? I'll explain if I'm sure he will talk about it. I mean, he had Asmon in the screenshot, but like everyone in the chat knows about the Murloc face incident with the censoring. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm sure he'll explain it.
As always, need to know who Baby No Money is.
That's how I kind of learned about him, yeah. Why is there no music?
Baby No Money, or Alex, was born June 30th, 1995 in Vancouver,
he's got close
Canada.
Birthday
yes,
to me,
he's
June
Canadian.
30th.
The nice people that you wouldn't want to be in an opposing trench against or accept any tinned goods from them. He was son to an Armenian father and Danish-Swiss mother, and despite what you may think, when he popped out of the womb, he wasn't able to compose Rise of the Valkyrie from memory, or even rival the greatest of our time, DJ Toenail.
This was such insane content. Cooking up bangers, it sounds like diarrhea. Yeah.
He actually found music rather late in life compared to other artists, and if things went as planned in his life, he probably wasn't going to make any music at all. Alex was homeschooled for a lot of his early years, and in an interview in 2019, he recounts his mother trying to get him into piano, but he found it difficult to both read music.
That's crazy. I had the same exact experience. I loved playing piano, and my parents got me into it, both of them. But I hated music theory. I could play everything by heart, like, pretty much. I just had to learn it. I had to spend time learning it instead of reading the notes. I could use it as a guide. Yeah, I think music theory is cringe. No, it's fine, though. I don't know. I just don't have the brain for it. It's okay.
And understand music theory. His homeschooling would end when he reached high school, of which the transition from homeschooling to public schooling, he has briefly stated it made him a bit of a weird kid, which I think...
That's rough. I can see that. Like, going from freaking primary school to middle school to high school. High school's a different beast.
Is understandable when you transition from learning at home with most of your contact being the teachers that were probably your mother and father to a public school with other kids and teachers that most times are underpaid and detest your very existence. However, despite being in an unfamiliar environment, he both discovered listening to music recreationally and a hobby which he wanted to pursue in the future, which actually was nothing to do with music and was instead competitive swimming. This actually was where his name...
It is wait, this is low-key kind of freaky. I did competitive swimming. My dad was like a competitive swimmer when he was in university. This is kind of weird. Whoa!
Baby No Money came from, as when he was a competitive swimmer, he was known as Baby No Chlorine, which if you even believed me for a second there, you may be clinically brain dead. I was just checking your dumbass is still listening and not disassociating and drooling over there whilst you organise those Minecraft chests. Anyway, from looking at his swimming record, he took part in a lot of competitive races whilst pursuing this interest, being mainly active from 2008 to 2012 and taking part in a range of races like the 200 meter breaststroke to the 1500 meter freestyle. However, his dream to be a competitive swimmer would be short-lived, as in grade 12 he broke his back whilst playing rugby, or football for those of you in high cholesterol servers, but with his back being broken, not only was he not able to continue swimming competitively, but he would experience lifelong issues such as chronic back pain as a result of the incident.
I broke my back playing rugby in grade 12. It's all good. It was a good learning experience. And then I was like, okay, shit, well, now I know so much about the psychological effect of pain, and I'm in chronic pain all the time. Like, basically, I have trouble sleeping. Like, it's just my life.
Now, with his dreams shattered, he would understandably be very depressed because of this, saying in other interviews he didn't really know what to do with his life going forward, and he was only 17 to 18 at this time.
Yeah, that's like your peak time for athleticism too, like between like 17 to like 25. That sucks. Yeah, your dream gets shattered.
Like, I was an athlete, I used to be a competitive swimmer, and then I had to pretty much give any goal of
that happens a lot with people,
physical ability, kind of excellence or endurance plays, yada yada yada. Super depressed, you know. I had nothing going for me, literally nothing. You know, I'm not the most academically savvy individual.
Well, imagine if the inverse happened and he was like a famous singer, and then his, like, I don't know, your voice goes out. That happens too. BDSM. Why are we wearing BDSM equipment?
However, even with this being the worst thing that could happen to him at that time, but long term it would actually be one of the most crucial pivots in his life, as whilst he was recovering he began to explore other hobbies. One of these hobbies involved writing poetry, which turned into turning said poetry into music, and upon jokingly recording himself singing with his friends, this is where he says he gained his new passion, which was making music.
Like, hey, let's go to my friend Seb's house, smoked a ginormous blunt, and laughed over a Chief Keef type beat. And I was like, at that exact moment, I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
At around this point, he was 19 years old and began his studies at the University of British Columbia, studying kinesiology so he could eventually be a chiropractor. As in his own words, from breaking his back previously, he sympathized with people going through the same issues and wanted to give something back. But at the same time, he had just joined his first band with his friends, which was called Broke Boy Gang, with his nickname in the band being Baby Freestyle. However, because the name was so long and didn't fit on his jersey that they created for their first show, a friend would shorten the name so it would fit on the jersey to BBNO $. which he interpreted as Baby No Money, and he thought it was actually quite catchy. So he used it from there onward, which is where he actually got the name he uses to this day. But not too long after, the band he made with his friends would break up and no longer continue making music together. And Alex, or now Baby No Money, went on solo creating music on the platform SoundCloud. He would see some success, but not as much as compared to in 2016, when Jackson Yi, a member of the Chinese dance and music group TF Boys, used Alex's song Yo Yo Tokyo in a dance celebration for his 16th birthday. And as a result, he went viral in China, and striking whilst the iron was hot, he decided to go to China and started doing shows and concerts there while still being a university student. Following this success in
he knows how to capitalize. Like, he's not stupid. I don't think so. He wouldn't be as popular as he is if he wasn't, like, at least a little bit business savvy. Yeah, like, he could have just said, fuck it. Like, kept going to university. It's like, oh, I don't really care about what someone across, the Atlantic Ocean thinks about me.
2017, he collaborated with well-known artist Young Gravy and continued making more music, even releasing a few albums. But once again, none of this success would compare to what he would see in 2019 with the release of the song La La La. Yeah, something he made in collaboration.
That was crazy, dude. I think he honestly was one of those people that actually created the trend of making a song centered around things going viral on TikTok. Like, there's actually a trend that people picked up back in like 2021 and 2020 where music artists focus solely on the chorus and the drop. Yeah, they completely cut out bridges and stuff because of like how it would affect virality on TikTok.
With Y2K and was said to be heavily improvised.
Did I really just forget that melody?
But it was extremely popular. Even to this day, it is still his most played song and a song many know him for. Going past this, he would credit the song's success to platforms like TikTok, where instead of spending money on things like labels or advertisements to push the song out, he discovered all he really had to do was 1, post about the song on TikTok, usually in the most basic way possible, 2, he got his existing fanbase to pick up the song and push it out with their own content, which in turn would further advertise the song, and 3, Baby No Money learned to integrate himself and his music into meme culture in a way that music labels at the time couldn't, and if they did attempt it, it came off as unorganic, failed horribly, and made...
Yeah, you cannot do that. You cannot force a meme. You can provide material, but you can't force a meme. Yeah, for sure.
The artist looked like an industry plant. This would be a tool Baby No Money would heavily use.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Are we serious?
In the future when launching new music. Well, that and also mingling with other creators or influencers to not only push his music but also expose himself to all areas of the internet, which later on was a blessing and a curse. But he essentially didn't have to pay for advertising at all, as his fans and social media would do most of the work. And
he would get a lot of free, I don't know, like fan art and shit too. With this animation, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, I think a lot of people wanted also to chase the clout that he had, so they would do free animations for him.
Took this a step further when he made the choice to make some of his music copyright free, meaning people that used his music in their content could actually make money from it and not have to worry about it being restricted or all of said money being sucked away. Also meaning I could essentially blast one of his songs for the entire duration of this video and apparently won't get copyrighted. This also meant people would constantly use his music, especially animators and artists, in their content, as not only was his music somewhat catchy and...
It is very catchy, and that's the whole point of the music, because I will say this, I have listened to Baby No Money songs, very catchy, but then everything else kind of just like, I don't know. It's very focused on that specific, like, 10 to 15 seconds, and that's very TikTok heavy.
Involved in a lot of trends,
Not a lot
but
of
he would
songs
also
do that.
regularly show support and commission a lot of said artists, which incentivized them to do it more, which in turn made his music more noticed.
Yeah.
But that is the basic summary of
works.
where Baby No Money came from, and how he got to where he is today. The only thing I didn't add was that he still ended up graduating from university in 2019 with a degree in kinesiology whilst also pursuing his music career. And he is still pushing out music regularly with support from his large fan base. So why, after saying all of this, is he so hated to the point where people supported his premature retirement from music?
You look at an insanely negative remark, people are calling me the Antichrist or like comparing me to Hitler. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know why. I think people just don't like my music, but like, I'm only here for positivity.
Now, as said, Baby No Money, especially recently, has been getting a lot of hate. But is the hate forced, or is there actually a reason behind it? One of the main reasons people hate Baby No Money is down to his music itself, with some sharing the opinion it's just shit, with some describing it as straight NPC music or corny, and saying it's so bad that it's like auditory torture, and then there's the opinion that most of his recently released music just sounds all the same. Now obviously music is subjective, and in my own opinion, yes, the person has a bipolar music taste. I don't think Baby No Money's music is that bad to the point where it's on the same level as some of the abominations that were made in the YouTube music and diss track era of the
There are plenty of artists who have catchy music, but they're insufferable. I know there's a lot of people that be like, oh, Alana, if you hate this person, don't listen to their music. Like, I can admit that it's catchy. I can. It is. It's an earworm. That's the whole fucking point. And even England is my city. Like, this shit's catchy too because it's so stupid and ridiculous. People will want to repeat it because it's so dumb. You can also say that's like counterintuitive, but it does. It's not the thick of it. Thick of it is strong. I don't know.
Internet, but yeah, his music isn't that bad. Would I listen to it on my own accord? Probably not.
No.
But to be fair, his most recent song is a change of pace. I'm not Anthony Fantana when it comes to music. I'm most definitely not bald. But it's different. It's not like any other music he's made, and he may be going on a musical journey or character arc.
That's fair.
But I don't think people hate him and his music down to it just sounding bad. I think it involves other factors like his advertising strategy, with the copious amount of posts he'll make on social media when he does have a new song, to the amount of people he will commission to make animated videos with his music, to him seemingly collaborating with every influencer that has or has recently gained a large following, and with him and his music being all over platforms like TikTok and YouTube, some people feel as though he's being forced down their throats and are experiencing so-called Baby No Money fatigue, because they see him and hear his music so much they may eventually get tired of him or even eventually begin to hate him as a result. And I think
that's why people hated Rick Astley too. I can see that being valid.
Is just a symptom of his marketing strategy that does very well.
I don't think he deserves hate for that specifically. Like, he's good at marketing. Like, obviously, that's why he's so popular. Everybody, like, at least relatively everyone has at least heard the jingle and the song. And I think that's fine. Like, you could argue I do the same thing, maybe to a lesser extent, but like I post 3 videos, I do a ton of shorts every day on YouTube, I stream 5 days a week. Like, I have no issue with marketing yourself well. And like constantly putting out content, because that's the whole point, right? That's not the issue. My only issue with him, personally, is the blatant, like, support the current thing shit he does, which never comes off as genuine. Like, it purely comes off of like hopping on a topic that's trending to go, and again, it's like to garner music, like to garner attention to his music. I mean, sorry. And then there was the Asmongold drama. Like, my favorite streamer is Asmongold, bro. I remember. I don't forget shit like that. Zero conviction, zero actual beliefs, allergic to negative press, which was very obvious after the fact. I won't spoil it. I know a lot about it. I'm sure he's gonna cover it, because it's literally one of his fucking biggest scandals, if not the biggest one.
covers a lot of ground. It has spread him to almost all corners and communities of the internet. Hell, he was even in the game Peak. His agent or whoever is setting up all these collabs needs to get a fucking promotion. But it has the trade-off of working too well where instead of people liking you, people start to get tired of you, even if you are simultaneously doing good things like commissioning small and freelance artists. And it's not uncommon. We recently saw the Pedro Pascal fatigue, which was partially down to him being everywhere in every movie or show. And once again, Baby No Money has received a lot of benefits from this effective strategy, like not needing to pay anything towards conventional advertisements like bigger music labels do, but it looks like it has come with the trade-off of people potentially seeing too much of him. Now, another reason people hate Baby No Money is with the claim he is performative, or as some call him, Baby No Backbone. First we had Jellywig, now we have this. Where are people coming up with these names? Now, this doesn't come from the stunt I mentioned before, where he said if he gets 1 million likes, he will quit music, and he ended up receiving 4 times what he asked for. And then he made a sad post saying he was leaving, and then a month later came back saying it was all a troll. Like, if you fell for that and actually thought he was going to quit music forever, I don't know what to tell you, except I have some gas station Viagra I could sell you. But this opinion some people harbour of him being performative and having no backbone has to do with multiple things and events. One of which being people think he only follows the current thing at the time or has the safest takes imaginable. An example of this being his opinion on AI, as if you didn't know he is heavily against AI art, and he thinks you should always support and commission real artists instead, which is a very popular opinion and a take nobody...
But it's so easy to farm. That's literally social media. He's a social media fiend. It is what it is. Like, it's
really has a problem with.
To all the AI artists in my DMs complaining about the post that I made yesterday, go fuck yourself. Learn to draw.
But the problem some people have with this is the amount of times he has posted about said opinion. He has done it quite a lot, and I think at this point people understand what his stance is on AI art, and they don't need to be constantly reminded of it. And people have pointed out he does this a lot.
I agree with that. What are your plans for cleaning up our environment?
He's got them shriveled.
Family Guy
traffic problem.
Them shriveled.
But you could say this is down to his own gripe with AI generation, as he's supposedly had people involve him in concerning AI videos. But another controversy that goes with this critique of Baby No Money is regarding his art competition he held 7 months ago, where the winner would have their art used for the cover of his new song and would also receive $1,000. Now that sounds like a straightforward competition. You make a piece of art and you have a chance of both getting exposure and a lot of money. But this innocent competition ended up with him receiving a lot of shit, because Baby No Money is very vocal about supporting smaller artists over things like AI. But from my understanding, some people got mad because he did not compensate a lot of the artists that contributed to said competition, and some saw it as him taking advantage of his community for free publicity from the people that didn't win but still did hours of work and publicly submitted work for the competition.
Well, that's what I mean, is when you start catering to everybody, especially Twitter specifically, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna make people fucking upset. That's what a competition is. I know, it's kind of just what you get though. Like, you're catering to everyone. You're going to make people upset. Our competitions are never worth it. No, not really. Unless it's like going to entry to so many people, or it's like a pay to enter kind of thing, because then it narrows it down. Yeah. Twitter people being raised with participation trophies. Well, I mean, you could have just not, like, I don't know, could have just not done it.
But as said, he got a lot of shit for this, and it was a big deal, at least on TikTok. And some tried to push the narrative he is performative and actually doesn't care about his fans or smaller artists, and that he just wanted to push his own music. But to be fair, it is an art competition, and in no way did he ever say he was going to compensate anyone but the winner. And this guy is known to commission tons of artists for his projects, to the point where he's probably single-handedly preventing the TikTok art community from going homeless. But even through the hate, he did advertise a lot of the artwork that people submitted, and he eventually did choose the winner of the competition to the dismay of people who thought others should have won, or that it was rigged, or
You're never gonna make those people happy. They're chronically online, and they're gonna piss and shit their pants no matter what. You just have to fucking ignore it. I'm sure if I did a fucking competition, there would be some people that would get upset. 100%.
Ironically, some accusing others of using AI. Yeah. But that controversy and situation is nothing compared to the next one, as it arguably caused the most backlash for Baby No Money and was the main piece of evidence to support the name Baby No Backbone. So on the 29th of May 2025, he would launch a song called Mary Poppins. There wasn't really anything wrong with the song itself, it was like his usual music, nothing really was different. But at the beginning of the music video, there was a message saying a certain person had been censored, as Baby No Money was unaware of their ethical beliefs at the time of filming with them. And throughout the video, you see this PNG lizard moving around the screen, and that person—
It's not a lizard, it's a Murloc!
Was the streamer and content creator SmugAlana, or as he's more commonly known as the Roach King, or Naggle's offspring. But it was thought he was mainly censored because of some of the opinions he has, mainly political takes. And 7 months prior to the release of this video, he was banned on Twitch and got a lot of backlash for some things he said regarding the Israel-Palestine conflict, of which he did later apologise, but it's unclear if it was due to this he was censored, or perhaps due to other instances or opinions he's shared in the past, as he has implemented more politics into his content, at least compared to other years. And
Asmon's had like incredibly controversial political opinions, and everyone on Reddit hated him way before his Palestine take. Yeah, way before his ban. People had been calling him unhinged for months prior to that. He was like public enemy #1 on Twitch for years before that. There's no excuse. Like, if Asmongold was his favorite streamer, as he said he was, he would have known how controversial he is. The reason people don't like Baby No Money is because obviously the conclusion that the average Joe would come to is like, he saw Asmon with like 50,000 viewers. He saw Asmon was like the owner and founder of OTK, the org. And then at the time, before he stepped away after, the controversy, right? And OTK had a bunch of popular streamers, all of which, by the way, they're all in the music video, uncensored. He saw $signs in his eyes because of Asmon, and all of the OTK members combined had like over 100K viewers, right? So he grifted as hard as he could to make the collab happen. And then when that happened, he got a bunch of backlash and folded like a fucking lawn chair. That's how a lot of people see it. Now, some of you are going to disagree, that's okay, but I'm just telling you what the majority of people think, and that's why people think he's a clout chaser.
Has ruffled a lot of feathers, to say the least, but I think in this situation, Baby No Money would have probably been fucked either way.
And again, I don't think Asmon will ever hold Baby No Money's feet to the fire, because he's a relatively nice person, he's a good person, he's a nice guy who understands that it's just business, right? And that Baby No Money obviously doesn't want to take a bullet because of Asmon's political beliefs. I get it. But that won't stop everyone else from hating him. Like, if you're gonna grift and suck up to someone who's political, you should expect that you are by proxy gonna be dipping your toes into the political arena, which will get you backlash. You didn't see me going out and deleting my tweets about Asmon, or like censoring him in my future videos every time he says something controversial. I know, this is gonna be a mind-blowing take, but being a fan of his doesn't mean you endorse every single opinion that he has. Do you know who thinks like that? Fucking retarded Redditors. Don't let these retarded Redditors tell you what to think or who you need to condemn, because this is the consequence. Everyone else will hate you and not take you seriously at all.
Didn't censor Asmongold, people would just for some reason assume he fully supports him and agrees with everything he says, and if he did censor Asmongold, of which he did, you get the fallout which we saw after the release of it, which I'll get into in a second, but the only way I see Baby No Money negating all backlash from this from both sides would be him probably making the sacrifice of not releasing or replacing the full video for the music, which would be him essentially pissing away a bunch of money and effort.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
Which is also quite the loss, so it probably wasn't the most straightforward decision, but either way it means Asmongold made the sacrifice of coming out of his RuneScape dungeon for no reason. However, with censoring Asmongold, as you'll see in the comments of the music video, he went about doing it in the worst way possible because it sticks out more than anything, and just in general creates its own Streisand effect, which was probably the opposite of what he wanted to happen.
Yeah, I thought this whole thing was dumb. Like, the censoring thing and it just going over the top, I think he made a massive mistake on that.
I think simply just blurring his face would have made a better choice and made him stand out less. But a lot of people pointed this out in the comments to the point where it's the only thing
Asmongold took a shower for nothing.
Talked about.
Now you're going to edit Mizkif's face, right? See, this is what I mean. You see that standard right there? Yeah, now people are going to hold your feet to the fire. Asmon won't do it. He was very gracious and he said, I understand. I'm not going to get mad about it. It's just business. It's his fucking music video. I'm not gonna tell him, like, fucking, I'm not gonna start beef over it. Yeah, like, I think he was being reasonable.
In said comment section, and nobody, and I mean nobody, is talking about the music at all. I think if he didn't even bother censoring Asmongold at this point, yes, he would have been condemned by another group of people, but I don't think people would have noticed as much, and it wouldn't have consumed the comments as much as having a dragon in the music video. But it was his music video, he can do whatever he wants with it.
Yeah,
but how did that make people come to the conclusion he is performative or that he has no backbone? Well, people pointed to a clip at a Twitch show.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Where Baby No Money was on stage, and he ripped his shirt open to reveal he had a painting of Asmongold on his chest.
And by the way, this was when he was political. He was already talking about, like, politics. This isn't, like, before the time when people were like, oh yeah, it's just, Asmon was just playing WoW and stuff. This was way after. So, like, I don't know, just you didn't do your research or you were just being disingenuous. I don't know. I'm gonna put words in his mouth.
Asmongold was his favorite streamer.
My favorite streamer without indubious question is fucking Asmongold, baby!
And some people saw this and thought he had no backbone because he previously said he was his favorite streamer and now he's censoring him in his music video. But
right
with context, this clip of him with the painting was from the start.
Yeah, February 18, 2024. You think 2 years ago Asmongold wasn't political?
Of 2024,
it did happen,
and the filming of the music video itself was also a few months after this in May, and Asmongold's main controversy was towards the end of 2024 in October. Now it's fair to make the argument that over time people's opinions of others can change, or on the other side that even before him getting banned, Asmongold has always been vocal about his beliefs, so was Baby No Money really a fan or did he just not notice? But people also pointed to Baby No Money's collab with Hassan, which at the time was before the whole Collegate thing.
And I think that's okay. I think that's fine. He can collab with him. I don't give a fuck. It's just the censoring thing, and then saying I'm a fan, and then saying like, oh, no, I didn't like this. It doesn't sit right with me. Sorry.
I think even after Collegate, he has had some other collaborations with Hassan, but it led some to question why he would censor Asmongold but collaborate with someone who in their eyes is said to have extreme views or is just as controversial as Asmongold. And people also pointed out, apart from Asmongold, there is a lot of other people that could have also been censored, with the most named being Mizkif, which was before the Emeru situation, but he still had a lot of controversy surrounding him at the time, and a lot of people still returned after the Emeru situation, saying they definitely now have a reason to censor him. However, with this situation, Asmongold himself didn't really seem to care and in fact understood why he would do it.
There's no ill will or any sort of like negativity about it. I just think that he doesn't want to be involved with my politics, and it was
least humble streamer.
Like from kind of a long time ago. And
Least
again,
humble
I like
streamer.
Baby No Money. I don't have any ill will towards him. I thought he's a great guy. I've talked to him multiple times. If he doesn't want to promote the kind of content that I do in my videos, that's his professional decision and that's his career. I'm not going to expect people to put their career on the line.
But that was another reason why people potentially dislike Baby No Money or think he's performative.
I was like, bro, I have like 1,000 hours on Terraria. He's like, me too. I was like, the fuck you mean you two? I was like, a fellow Terrarian in the flesh?
So with all this said, does Baby No Money deserve the hate he receives? In my opinion, no, not really. A lot of the hate I think comes down to him just being everywhere, which is his primary marketing strategy, and I don't think his music is that bad that you have to immediately turn it off to prevent ear damage. His usual music is not my cup of tea, but I do think his most...
I think he would have done a lot better if he just stuck to making really annoying catching music and not getting involved with people that are obviously fucking political and then just going back on it suddenly. He would have been fine, genuinely. Or at least
recent song
relatively
is
fine. You're always
actually
gonna get
something I
hate.
would listen to and actually pretty good. And I think Baby No Money himself hasn't really got into any serious controversies to deserve the amount of hate he has got. And once again with the Mary
just really
Poppins
popular,
video, I
too.
think he was going to get backlash either way. But with the amount of hate he recently has been receiving, it's got to the point where he himself has picked up on it and talked about it multiple times, which is not entirely the best idea. I think it only increases said hate. And sometimes, yeah, the hate is often going to sound louder than the support he receives, but from the outside he has a lot of fans that love his music and I don't think he really has anything to worry about. But yeah, those are the main reasons people hate Baby No Money. It was interesting to look at his story.
I
and
didn't
that's
know his, like,
basically it.
background.
I hope you
It's kind of
go
interesting.
sound to a fishing hook, and that's all I really had to say, and bye-bye.
Excuse me? What the fuck? Hello? No, it was a good video. It was very balanced. Brought up some points. But yeah, that's my opinion, pretty much. That is my opinion. Very nice. Good video. Thanks, Royalty! Yeah. Baby No Money wants nothing to do with you. Okay, retard. Okay. I don't want nothing to do with him. That's fine. Holy fucking clout chaser. Holy cocksucker. That's crazy. You could have waited? Nah, I don't want to linger on this. I genuinely don't give a fuck. It's just an opinion. Like, I don't fucking hate the guy. I don't want him to break his spine a second time or something. I'm not mean. I just have my opinion. I think he's a little bit of a sleazeball. I think that I wouldn't really trust him, but that's okay. I wanted to see what else the guy says. I didn't. It'd just be fucking retarded, I'm sure.